When I was 22, I was on a bus traveling through southern Mexico doing research for my undergraduate thesis when the man next to me asked me a question. He had been deported from California years earlier, and he asked me, how is it that you can come to my country to study my people while I've been repeatedly denied for a visa to go back and visit my family in your country? And the question stuck with me. How could it not? And it caused me to want to think deeply about how nationality and race and class all play a role in who gets to come to the US through our authorized avenues and who has to undergo this otherwise perilous journey north. So I applied for a Fulbright grant. I went back to Mexico. I spent 9 months interviewing Central American migrants on their journey north, writing about their experiences, which eventually turned into my book, No Option But North. And in talking to hundreds of migrants, they were all navigating this web of violence just to get to the US border, never mind cross it, where assault, kidnapping, rape, even death were absurdly common. Yet, I never realized just how deep insecurity runs until I found out about the shelter. I had been going to one shelter, I'll call it the old shelter, for 7 months. Every evening I'd walk in, and the atmosphere was always eerie and dark. There would be a new group of about 50 migrants kind of huddled in the corner around one light, repairing the flapping shoes of their soles, or the flapping soles of their shoes, or their wounds. And there would be reliably one staff member who was always there in the other side of the room, scrolling through Facebook. And then I learned that there was a second shelter in this town that I was in. So I started going there as well. And the difference was palpable. There was a big courtyard. Migrants could stay longer term. There was an on-call doctor, an on-call psychiatrist. There were ample donations. And so I started spending a lot of time there as well. And one day, a group of Americans arrived, and the director asked me if I could help translate for the tour that he was giving. So we went around, he was talking about the shelter. And then he said, you know, it's really important to me to create this safe and dignified space here, porque lo que pasó en el otro albergue es que el crimen organizado ya está adentro. And so I paused. I took that in, waited a second, translated it, spit it out. And I said, because what happened with the other shelter is that it's already infiltrated with organized crime. And then I sat down with the shelter director, who told me this long-winded story for 2 hours with many twists and turns that basically boiled down to an accusation that the old shelter, where I had been going, the director was selling migrants into human trafficking. So I took the story home. I tried to sift through the details. I tried to figure out whether it could be made up, whether it was true, but thought about what incentive would this person have to make up such a thing. I thought about all the little off moments I had felt at the old shelter that I had noticed. I thought about all the people that I had talked to. I thought about what might have become of them. And then I thought about what to do with this information. The police, the media, the local government, all were notoriously corrupt in Celaya, the city I was in. So what did I do? I told the Fulbright Commission. And what did they do? They scooped me up out of the city I was in, plopped me down an hour away in Querétaro, a much safer city, for me to finish out the last month of my grant. Who has the right to be safe? I certainly did, as I was scooped out of this situation where I wasn't really in danger in the first place. Yet the migrants I interviewed decidedly do not. Who is prioritizing their safety? I still don't know what became of the shelter, and the problem solver in me just felt wretchedly hopeless. But I think if there's anything that I've learned in this process of writing No Option But North, it's that I do believe wholeheartedly in the power of stories, stories of violence, but ultimately about migrants' essential dignity as human beings. And I believe that if we can understand and name this web of violence that migrants are navigating, then we have a stake in changing the policies that create it. Thank you.